welcome to Tech with Binga. This is another brand new episode on row level security in Power BI. So in this episode, I'll be taking you through the process of incorporating row level security feature of Microsoft Power BI into your next report. Stick around to the end of the video. Row level security is by far one of the most critical components of Microsoft Power BI security features and capability, in that it affords the Power BI developer or analyst to dynamically create focused kind of reports, all right, across multiple stakeholders. So with each stakeholder having an individualized or custom-based kind of report that they should see only information that they ought to see, right? So this is one of the major benefits that comes with row level security in your report. So what that means to your business is that with a single report, you are able to provide different information to different stakeholders. So if you look at this report, right, you notice that I've got, for instance, I've got 4 different regions. Typically, think about these regions as 4 different branches, within your organization. And you, as a Power BI developer or Power BI analyst, you're required to create this report that would appeal to different audience, right, within the same organization. So without further much ado, let's get into how we can incorporate one in your next report. So to incorporate a row level security into your report, there are a few things you need to validate and confirm that are in place. One, you need to understand how you want to filter the report by, all right? Specifically, this is you trying to understand what information should be seen by who, based on what, okay? So let's say, for instance, as I explained earlier on, you've got 4 different branches within your organization, and this is just you creating one report that would, be viewed by the 4 different stakeholders or 4 different categories of stakeholders within the same organization. So let's say, for instance, you've got like 4 different branches, all right? So you can imagine branches here being region that I have in this report. So I've got this 4 regions across central, east, south, and western region of the organization, Abefadi, and this is currently set to default state where I'm seeing all the information across all the 4 regions. Okay, this might require that create more custom fit kind of report that will sync with the different kind of audience that you have within the same organization. So to demonstrate how we're going to create that, I'm going to just quickly, now that we've established that what we're going to use to filter the views, right, of the different audience will be the region, right? So I've got within this data set, for instance, if I expand the data set, that region that you're seeing here on slicer, right, is brought in from the you see that from the location, right? So it's coming from dim location segment and specifically within the region column, all right? So this is what I want to use as a view to filter what should be seen by who. In your own case, for instance, it could be different, all right? Yours might be using country, might be using postal code, might be using some other specific thing that would appeal to different users within your organization. So that's important for you to identify first what you would use as a filter, in filtering different views or different kind of reports across your organization. So once you've identified that, the second thing you want to also identify is the content, the element of each of these items. You want to ensure that you know what are the unique elements, all right, within that specific filter that you're using. Of course, there's several ways you can know that. You can either know that from by just picking one visual and checking that from the filter. So if I go to filter, right, within filter under the current selection and you scroll down to all, there you're going to find all the different items or unique items or unique elements within that particular column. So that's important for you to note. Of course, you could also check that from your transform. If you go to your transform data, you would also be able to see unique content within specific columns that you want to filter by. So if I go to that dim location, this is the dim location, and I'm filtering by region. Okay, so if I click on the region and ensuring that you have your column quality under view is checked, your column distribution is checked, your column profile is also checked, there you'll be able to see the distribution of that data. So let me close this and head back to my report view. So within this report, now that we've identified that, next thing to do is to head on to modeling menu. So within the modeling menu, there are two major things that you need to interface with here when creating your rule level security, and they are manage roles and view has. The manage roles is where you would define the role level security. The view has is where you would locally view the security that you've implemented, that is the role level security that you've implemented within this report. So currently, if I click on view as, you would see nothing here, right? Because you have not created or incorporated any role level security into your report. So without wasting further time, let's head on to click managing roles or manage roles. So within the manage roles, just click on create. So this is where you want to define your nomenclature for your role level security. So because I'm creating specific role level securities for regions, right, or branch, so this is where you want to say, for instance, branch. Let's say region, the first on that list in no particular order, so I can start with south, right, south branch or southern branch, and within the southern branch I know that it's currently within the dim location table. So if I expand this ellipsis, there's an ellipsis button, 3 dots, click on that, you'll see add filter, click on the hover on the add filter and select region. So within this, the value string, this is a generic string, so double click within that, change that value to, you know, the specific item for the current filter, which is south. So south has to be exactly written, the exact way that you have under the distribution of region. Okay, so south, you've done that. The next thing is to click again on create. Let's go for east branch or eastern branch and go again to the 3 ellipses button, click on add filter and pick region. In this region I'm going to pick now will be east. So we have 2 more to create, and lastly we have the central, I believe. So we have central branch. Okay, central. So once you've done that, you click save. So we've got the central, east, south and west. So once we've created that, let's test our role level security. We go to view as, for instance, let's start with central branch. Let's see what information would we see if I were to be viewing this report from a central branch. So click on check the central branch and click OK. Okay, did you see that? So now it's been filtered down into central region and across other, other reports that we have, within this particular report. So if I click on each of them, has been filtered down, all right, within this. So if I go back to view again, and this time around I want to view from east region, you must uncheck the other, branch, so that you can, view them by each region. So you see, so this is the east region, for instance. So if I head on to the sales and you click on that region, you'll see that you only see that region there in the selection. All right, so once we are done viewing this, we now have ascertained that they're all fine. Okay, we can stop viewing, and now we want to, because this is local at the moment, this is localized within your your local Power BI desktop. So in order to achieve the sync between my local and Power BI service, I need to, of course, publish this report into the workspace specific to the report. So of course, you would have created your Microsoft workspace within your Power BI service, right? So now let's publish this report. So I go to home and I click on publish. This is the publish, and I save this because you need to save that security feature, which is the RLS. security, and then I'll choose the reports workspace, which is this one, and I click select. Okay, I think I have that there already, so I'll just replace that. And once that has been published, okay, we then head on to the Microsoft Power BI service, which is accessed from the powerbi.com website. So let's go. So this is the Microsoft Power BI service. All right. So I would refresh this so that we can have the updated report and data sets on. So when you publish a report, you know that you're publishing two things, which is the report itself that gives you the visuals, and the data set, which is of course again the data sets, the tables and all that, and the models, right, that comes with that particular report as it were. So within this workspace, where you want to check the row level security that you've incorporated into the report is under the data set. So in the data set, there is a 3 ellipses, more like an option button. So click more options button and select security. So notice now that we can now see all the row level securities that were incorporated within the local Power BI desktop. That we then need to add members. So you need to add members or groups, all right, within your organization. Of course, that you also have to do them based on the branch, all right. So if I have 20 users that have to view this report, and each of the users or some of those users are coming from specific regions. So if I have the central branch, for instance, and I say in this central branch, the only person or user that is from central branch, right, is this person, Power BI email address.com. Once you select that, right, we add. So the moment you add, and you have more, so you could have multiple emails, just add as many emails that falls under each branch on them, and then once you're done, click save. So the moment you're done saving and you've populated of course the other branches, so you can, before you inform the users, all right, or inform the stakeholders in whatsoever region they're viewing the report from, you want to ensure that you also test them to see that they work. All right, so I'll click on the more options button, this dotted lines, ellipses on each of the row level security, and click test as role. So the moment you do that, you'll be able to have a simulated view of that report based on the region that you selected. So you observe what we selected was the central, right? So within the central region, I'm only seeing this information, all right, across the central region. So if I go on, that's what you would see, all right. I'm only seeing the report based on this region, okay, that I've selected. It's the same report, but now narrowed down to the only region that I've selected. So if I go back to row level security and you've created or added member also to the other branches, it's important that you test that role and see that it works. So now that we've confirmed that everything works, so if I head back to the workspace on the Aberfalder report, for instance, and then I can now go ahead to share this report, of course, with the stakeholders, either by email or Teams or Microsoft Point or PowerPoint, or even copy the link, okay, to the report and share with the users or stakeholders for this report. So that is the process of creating row level security within your Microsoft Power BI local desktop version, and sync that of course with the Power BI service as well. So let me know if you have any comment or question within the comment section. Of course, if this is your first time viewing this channel, thank you very much for coming around. If you're a returning subscriber, thank you for sticking around. So thank you guys, see you in the next video.